Well, well, well. If it isn't everyone in the stream chat, fancy seeing you here again. Everyone, I'm here again. My name's Orphan. You guys already know what it is. I'm here in my attic that looks like a cellar because I made it dark. We're going to be talking Parallel today, as pretty much we always do. It's good to see you guys. It's good to have you here. Hey, make sure to smash that motherfucking like button, am I right? Am I right? Here, let me see if I can zoom. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Do it. Follow us. Subscribe. We got Young on here. We got me on here. We got, how does this work? Fuck. How does this work? We got all sorts of content. We're bringing a few more streamers on. We should have a week jam-packed of content coming up pretty soon. So follow, subscribe, do whatever. I don't have a social screen, so, you know, just wherever you came from, go back there and follow it. Who do we got in chat? We got Lukovic. We got Cacao Felix. Cacao. Is that how you spell, like, the chocolate bean? Hunter Adams. We got Rye. We got someone's name I can't read. Oh, it's Bran. Hey, Bran. We got Cryptorinus. That sounds like a dinosaur. OX Milamber. Dave, of course. Ethan. Riz MM. Keep him away from your girl. Thank you guys all for being here. Yeah, we don't want Ethan here. Ethan, did you get banned from Twitter? We got Koji. Today we're talking with Rye, obviously my co-host. We also have Kalos, Mr. Gone, and the Notorious Lunchtime. I just spilled Spindrift on my face. All right, guys. What up, JP? Welcome, welcome. Let's hop right into it. No reason to delay, unless you guys want to look at my giant face again. Let's go. Right into it. Well, right into me first, then let me unmute these guys. All right, guys, what is up?
Hey. What's up?
Hey, everyone.
Wow.
What's going on?
How's it going?
What's up? I think we made it. I think everything looks fine. And that's crazy.
You
First time
did
for
it.
everything, right?
I'll probably fuck something up later. I guarantee it, but
Oh, that's the Game Cellar guarantee, actually.
yeah, for now we got a juicy looking stream. You guys are all looking good. Koji, where's your parallel hat, man?
I know I didn't get the memo, man. I didn't get the memo.
How much
But,
money
I
would
heard you were.
Oh, go
heard you
for
were
it.
wearing a deep V, so I figured I'd show off the guns.
3 buttons down, man.
Matching chest.
3's the magical
skin.
number. How much money would it take for you to tattoo a parallel logo on your forehead?
He's already got one. He
Forehead.
doesn't need another.
Good question. I don't know if it's a matter of money at this point.
How
Yeah.
much prime would you take?
How much pride would it take?
Alcohol. I think I just have to lose all my pride, and then.
Okay.
Hey, I have to cut in for a second because I just realized I'm on a free Zoom plan, and this Zoom call ends in 9 minutes.
Oh fuck.
Are you playing?
Actually.
Oh
I'm
shit.
not joking. No, we got to sneak in the
Oh.
combo. at
The
9.
prophecy is fulfilled.
Oh no.
I
Run it,
have.
run it to the clock. Let's
I
go.
did not foresee this problem.
Right, so start rattling off questions and get
Yeah.
as much out of these guys as we can.
Yeah,
or-
alpha, let's go.
We're so good at this. All right.
What do you wanna
let me
do, man?
think of it.
Do you
I don't know,
wanna
I guess
just-
just fire up another link. Does anyone on the Parallel team can we use your account?
Yeah, do you
Yeah,
get
I've got a Zoom account we can use.
Wow.
If we need.
All right.
Yeah, if you fire up a link, we can hop over to that before we get into the good stuff.
Big apologies in advance.
It's kind of hilarious. Just that like you were just joking that it wasn't going to hold together. It's self-fulfilling prophecy at this point.
We look at it like
Shit.
content. This is content. Ryan may have done it on purpose, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this is pure entertainment.
Koji, you want to flip out a link?
Yeah, I got to disconnect, and then I'll
Okay.
send it anyway.
Dragon
We
spit
appreciate
in the
you.
house. Yummy bear. I'll go back
See
to
ya.
monologue mode, and I'll see you guys in a sec.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
Well, unless,
Thanks, guys.
yeah,
Get you in a minute.
yeah. You know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. All right. Who else? We got people funneling in. Thank you for your patience, guys. We're making it happen. We're making it work. Gonna leave this meeting. How is your guys' day going? What game is it in the background? Does anyone know what game this is? I have never played that. Okay, we'll launch this up. Everything should be linked if I did it right, so we will see. What is the best thing that's happened to you this week? How much money have you made or lost? That's what I want to know.
Hit that bruh button for sure.
All right. Audio. Where? Okay, let's see if this is set up still. Yo, it is. Let's go. That was easy.
Did it actually work?
Yeah,
Did it
that was
carry
that
over?
was easy.
Seamless transition.
See, that is the difference between Zoom. Zoom has a, well, I don't. Nobody cares.
I mean, the names are a little bit off, but
Oh
we
fuck
who
yeah,
we
they are. You guys switched order.
John, you get to interview us now.
Let me just. Yeah, you're now hey hi.
All right.
Thanks for saving the day, Parallel fam.
Let me reorganize this a little bit
Milking our Zoom plan.
Yeah, well, send us the bill after this, okay?
yeah.
we're on the pay by call plan.
Oh
so
shit. Oh no.
Is it by the minute or?
Oh god.
that's right.
Was this a phone sex hotline?
I hope so.
Do you guys remember when you used to have to pay by the minute for just normal like international phone calls? It was such a pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What did they call that? Calling collect?
Yeah, collect calls.
Collect, yeah.
Yeah, and you could like make them pay for it.
I love that my parents still rock the landline, which I always love.
Damn.
Nice.
That's
Some of the
that's
spam
cozy.
calls.
That gives me nostalgia
there's-
just thinking about that.
Did you know? I think there's 5 volts. I think it's 5 volts are running through the landline. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
No.
Yeah, there's actually power
Yeah.
running through the landline,
Oh, no
and
shit.
it's not a lot, but it's interesting.
That's
What-
enough for USB. USB
Well,
is
that's-
5 volts.
I can't remember how many volts it is. I think it's really low. It's like 5 volts, I believe. But super interesting. Just I remember coming across that arbitrarily for some reason recently.
What type of
Got a digital
animal?
display, baby.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I've heard you guys have an arsenal of questions you're gonna barrage us with.
Yeah, we're getting down to brass tacks here, boys. Okay, we got to get into the weeds because I think everyone saw the colony teaser.
What is that? What is
Yeah, what
that?
is that?
Colony.
I don't. Who's like? Wait,
Who is
That sound
torturing a
effect-
dog?
that sound effect happened earlier when Orphan wasn't even on the Zoom.
It's not
So
me.
where's it coming from? This is fucked up.
Yeah,
They're
where's it
just
coming from,
taunting
Koji?
us now. Now it's just a joke. They're just messing with us.
Yeah, this used to be serious, and now it's just a joke.
Exactly. Yeah, we got questions. All right, we have questions independently. We also have questions from lunchtime in the gang.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
that's a great question. Why don't we do? We'd love to talk about avatars, of course. We'd love to talk about Colony and the way that you guys are approaching that. Maybe
We're
we
huge in the Navi, just so you know. Huge.
Okay. All right. And then Midnighters and your questions, maybe you pepper them throughout lunch.
Yeah, it kind of covers a couple topics, so I could probably just throw them in as
All right.
the conversation gets there.
Sweet. Well, let's start with avatars because I am very excited about them. I know that you guys have been hyping them up a little bit too, but can you give us a little bit of a breakdown of how you're approaching them, and maybe we talk about 6551s as well.
Sure. And Koji, feel free to jump in with me here anytime. But the collection of avatars was obviously intentionally quite different than like a traditional, like let's say PFP project or something like that. The current state of them is, what the public has seen, in some of the examples, and they're divided equally. The total collection is divided equally across the parallels, excluding Universal. There's a number of so the collection was not like generated by AI or anything like that. They're 3D models, and I think you can see that from some of the footage we put out. And we're in the process of, so there's a significant portion of them that are already designed to be full-bodied, and there's still remaining a smaller amount of them. And our kind of like step 2 in avatars for us, and we're beginning this process now, is taking the 3D models, putting them through MetaHuman into UE5. So this kind of pipeline migration activity of taking the assets from one 3D environment to a usable 3D environment and utilizing them for, kind of unlocking a lot of ways or more ways to play is kind of the theory. Cool. So the collection, obviously has Earthen, and you'll see a lot of, it'll nod to a lot of the cards, it'll nod to a lot of the comic characters, it'll kind of paint a broader picture of different societies within each parallel. I think some people have started to pull apart, already some interesting quirks about the Shroud, or maybe different logos on the Cathari and what they mean. So it's kind of a big deliverable that we spent a lot of time working on, and the team deserves a ton of credit who built this. And it's one, really big first step towards the larger goal. And I think like what this points towards is some of the equipment stuff we've previously shown in the past. Obviously we've got, as the artists make cards, and there's probably some misconceptions around this I can clear up. As the artists make cards, a lot of the time they're working actually in 3D, and then they flatten it for the art on the card. And, it's a small optimization activity, and I call it small, but there's parties that help us do this, where these models that are created become optimized and usable. And creating this library, this 3D asset library, and having these 3D models of people, what really composes most worlds and games or content is, a place, people, equipment, vehicles. And when you have those all in 3D piped into a game building suite like UE5, you unlock a lot of possibility, both from our studio standpoint and the potential for others to work with that library. So it's kind of been an overarching strategy of, while we build the TCG, let's build for the future, let's build in an intentional way, and Avatars is no different.
Also, from a card game perspective, you can't just set any picture you want to be your sort of display picture in game, because I know that you guys are just going to overrun us with dogs, and that's just not cool. So, there'll be a small selection of in world elements, I guess, that you could choose from as a display picture in game. But if you own one of these avatars, you'll be one of the small few who actually gets to represent yourselves as a person in game.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you use it with a corresponding Parallels deck, you'll receive a buff in game and from the emission of Prime for wins.
Oh,
So
nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So there's some utility to it as well, but that's kind of like a shorter term versus like longer term perspective on how it works from like a TCG standpoint to where we want to go with it. So I think that's like at a high level avatars. And then do you want me to just kind of step into how we see it applying to Colony?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Definitely.
Okay, so Colony, a lot of folks saw us build, some really fast demo examples in UE5 of like an ARPG-like looking game and a third-person shooter-looking game. And that was really like the first step in taking avatars and porting them into UE5. And it wasn't really to say, oh, this is a game. No, we're not trying to, dupe anybody. It's to say, hey, these assets are all now kind of finding their new home in a much more capable platform that allows us or others to build in the future using these assets. And Colony came about as a result of some of the data science team within Parallel beginning to play with some, play with OpenAI as well as other suites of tools. And I think what really kicked it off for them was when Google and Stanford released a joint research paper where these AIs in a sim plan their own Valentine's Day party.
That's like that
so,
Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, her, right?
Yeah.
And so they reverse engineered that. They probably don't want to use this type of terminology to explain it, but like for the vast majority of us, essentially what they've really done is kind of re-engineer, reverse engineer how that is achieved. And we started playing with it and looking at, from a 2D standpoint, what this feels like when you've got this autonomous character that believes it's and acts and talks and believes as though it's an Ogden core in a mining colony with others, and it talks to other colonists, and it has items, and you can influence it, and it has its own objectives. It has its own personality that you can set, and you kind of are married to it. So like if you pick determined, it might tell you no all the time or whatever, But
you really are married to it then, huh?
yeah. And so I think what Colony is really like the first time, so kind of stepping back, and then you have NVIDIA, and NVIDIA released this demo where there's a ramen restaurant, and the AI, it's an NPC, is talking to you. And the common thread in all this stuff is that like it's really interesting. It's clearly where a lot of this stuff is going, and but like none of it is stuff that people can interact with yet. And so like our goal is to get to a place relatively quickly here where people can try it for themselves. Like we want people to have an avatar, to be able to talk to it, to be able to interact with it, to be able to give it things, to watch it do things and ask it why it did those things, to ask it what it saw, who it interacted with, what it achieved, why it's doing what it's doing. Because really like we're seeing all these pieces of content come out. Another great example is the Minecraft, right? Like there's an example of AI playing Minecraft, and again, you can't interact with it. And so what we're trying to get to in relatively short order here is, and we've been in test environments with it for probably 2 weeks now, trying the actual game, watching it move around. You see videos. We try to publicly share it so people can kind of get a sense of what we're doing with it and why. But really, like the goal is to look at how games have progressed and go skate to where the puck is going to be. And you look at the history of things. You've got these console games with controllers, and then we went to mobile games that were more casual, and this the controller was the screen. And now we're kind of going to a place where control is it's a negotiation, and it's done with words. And I think that opportunity married, like the question that came up, I guess, when we were doing this was like, how do we marry what's happening in AI to what's possible with crypto, and what is it that's uniquely possible because of crypto? And the thing that we landed on was the idea that the AI itself could own digital items and have a wallet. Like it's not like anyone's going to give an AI a bank account. And so, but you can give it this 6551 wallet where it can own NFTs, it can own ERC20s, so it can use Prime, it can use a LAR, or it can use a hammer or whatever, and you can either give it these items, or it can go and obtain these items from other AIs. It can go and obtain these items from the world, from the simulation, and like that is uniquely possible with crypto. And that is what Colony is this simulation where avatars are autonomously living, and you're interacting and negotiating with your avatar talking to it, suggesting it do certain things, finding out what it did, supporting it, and kind of working as a team to achieve this ultimate goal of the game.
So,
am I doing it justice, or am I?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away too many like gameplay elements just yet. We're still work in progress, all the caveats, whatever. But basically, what we're trying to do is, I don't know if you picture yourself as like an angel or a devil on an avatar's shoulder, or if you've ever played the game Black and White, let's just say,
I was going to
rather
mention that
than
actually.
Peter
yeah, yeah.
Molyneux.
Rather
Yeah.
than like, because I don't even know if control is the right word. It's influence is really what you're doing. It's like
Hmm.
you're the way that we see it is like you're going to suggest things to your avatar. It's going to ask you questions, and you're gonna basically tell it how to react to certain situations. So as an example, one of the things we're working on is it could go to work and be like, I went to work and Rye, yeah, he cut me in line at the reclamator or whatever. Like, do you think I should confront him
Bastard.
today? And maybe you're like, okay, well, tell me more about
Don't answer.
Rye.
Just drop an NFT of a lead pipe into his
Yeah,
wallet.
that's right.
Well, I'm not telling you
That's
to
right.
do anything, but
Yeah. But
But-
check
but
your
the-
bag.
this might be helpful.
The interesting thing is, like, you might suggest that it does a certain thing, and it will carry it out to a certain extent, or maybe it won't. But generally speaking, it will attempt to do the thing, but the outcome, you have no control over the outcome or what might happen. Like, in V1, what we're gonna do is a bit of a survivor type situation where, someone's gonna be elected the leader, basically, but what makes good qualities of a leader or how one becomes a leader isn't exactly clear. So, if it's like, hey, so-and-so invited me to a party tomorrow, should I go? You'd think, okay, well, yes, obviously you should socialize with these people. But like, what if my avatar is socially awkward and weird or whatever? It actually might be bad for me to like go and be in this social situation. And so you kind of have to like play around a little bit to see what works, because you're going to be learning your avatar's personality, and it's going to be learning from you. So at the end of the day, as cheesy as it
Interesting.
sounds, like maybe it becomes like not quite a friend, but like more than a Tamagotchi. Like it will be something that like you will be interacting with back and forth. And it's not just you telling it things. It's going to tell you things and ask you things as well.
Yeah, I look at it like an ant colony on your desk, or like a fish tank, maybe. Like it's almost like, but it's obviously it speaks the same language as you. And so you're able to kind of like watch it and allow it to do its things. And the world in which it's going to operate in the first iteration is quite small. It's just in a colony. But the goal, obviously, pending its success, is that like we'd like to expand that world and give it more and more, world to interact with. But again, like I think obviously like this doesn't. I want to make sure I state this. It's just and reiterate this over and over. Is like this is a small team that's entirely separated from the TCG team. It like in no regard impacts the deliverable of the TCG itself, which is our core deliverable. We'll always kind of cornerstone ourselves on that. But it is relevant and extremely interesting and extremely important. And so I think with this incredible 3D asset library we've created, with the kind of emergence of this new technology, and with this crossover that makes a ton of sense around giving it its own possessions, like there's something there that we want to explore, and we want others to feel for the first time, and we want to be the ones to help bring that to market. And we're seeing others try different things, and I'm sure there's a lot of great teams out there probably working on different stuff. Some of them are research based. We're really trying to make a game out of it that is fun and interesting and different.
So there's so much there to unpack, and it all sounds incredible.
I love the idea of it, like the direction it's heading. So I guess the idea would be down the road, like inside the colony, you might have like a foundry for Augencore to go to, and then they could go kind of rank up and start possibly creating equipment and become specialized in making their own NFTs and stuff. Yeah.
So they're doing this today, right now, right? There is a foundry, there's a mine. They have a refinement facility. They go and they work for a certain period of time. They are getting resources. Those resources could be ERC20 or whatever it is, or 1155s, excuse me. So like every time they pull a piece of unrefined rock out of the ground, they could get an 1155. And then they take that 1155, they can put it into the reclamator, and then they could get out a raw prime shard. And the same raw prime shard, theoretically, just kind of spitballing here. Don't take this as an implication to raw prime shards from comics having any dilution from this, but you essentially could have like a raw prime shard 1155 that they use to turn into ERC20 prime. and then they use that and go buy food in the shop and go buy upgraded mining equipment. They like that happens today, where that's already happening in the demonstration, in the demos we've been testing with some of the mods today. They get equipment, they get upgraded equipment on their own. They decide they get greater output on their own. They refine it on their own. They buy food. They go to the bar. They talk to each other. That's happening today.
Have they ever had sex?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so, but
They're private
Check the
about
logs
it.
on that.
They don't kiss and tell.
you have to check the logs. I don't know about that, but I mean, the 6551 part is what we're looking to implement next, because right now all those pieces of equipment and things that they're obtaining from the simulation are not NFTs. They're not ERC20 or anything like that. And so that's the next step in our implementation. But all the basic pieces of what we've discussed are operational today, and the demonstrations you're seeing in the videos are one of the engineers on the team, from the data science team and AI team, directly interacting with the client as it is today.
Do all of those interactions, transactions, what have you, do they imply the necessity of an L2?
Probably. I think, like, from an efficiency standpoint, right, that can become pretty cost prohibitive. And this is kind of where, we don't know what the business looks like for it yet, like from our side or from the customer side, from like a value accrual side or from a business side. We don't know, other than avatars are the core, and Prime, it's all powered by Prime. So you'll be able to take Prime from your wallet and give it to your avatar, and then suggest or negotiate, as Koji was saying, to go get upgraded mining equipment. And it'll tell you, it'll say, like, I don't really feel like doing that right now. And you'll ask why, and it'll be like, well, I'm talking to Kevin at the bar. And you're like, well, like, stop talking to Kevin and go get the mining equipment, because, like, we need it. But you'll start to feel like someone recently equated it, how good they're going to be at the game, to being a parent, because it's a lot of negotiating with your avatar.
Just give your avatar a bunch of Prime and start bribing the other avatars to throw their games.
Yeah.
So that's what I tried to do, actually. I tried to my avatar accrue a bunch of Prime, and I was just like, hey man, you should start handing this out, because, like, there were a bunch of like players in the game complaining they didn't have any Prime, and I was like, you should start handing this out, because, like, that would ingratiate you to all these people, and make you look like a great leader or whatever. But he's like a hoarder, so he was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I need that to live. I need that to live. And I was like, please, like, and so it's a weird back and forward. And obviously we're still tinkering with it, but it is a weird back and forward when it comes to playing a game like this. When you, as a player, you're used to having control, but really you are almost an observer. It's like what I equated it to the other day with somebody who I was explaining this whole idea to, is like, when you're sitting on the couch beside your buddy who's playing a video game, and you're like, oh, jump over there. You see that thing up there? Like, and sometimes they'll do it, and sometimes maybe they're like, oh, I missed it or whatever. Like, that's kind of what it was feeling like to me. My favorite interaction so far of all time is one of the guys who was playing was getting really frustrated and just kept typing prompts to their avatar over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden he just stops what he's doing, the avatar, and goes to the sick bay and complains that he's hearing voices in his head.
Yeah, there's some really
incredible,
funny.
That's amazing.
Something different entirely, right? And, like, I think that's why, like,
Holy shit.
we find it interesting. We have the skills within the team. It doesn't interfere with our ability to execute on our core deliverable, and so let's do something really different that we think is the next logical step in the progression of games, right? Like, controllers to phones to words.
Yeah.
And let's be a part of that, and let's combine it with crypto, rather than, taking this position that they're, like, entirely separate. Because there's with 6551 and what we're talking about, it's uniquely possible because of crypto. And so let's do that. Like, let's do the thing that's the intersection that makes a ton of sense and is extremely interesting.
Would this open up? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, onto that point, one of the questions that I had for you guys was to those that are like, I thought you guys were a TCG company. Why are these explorations and endeavors important to you?
Well, hold on. Before you go, Kalos, I just got to say that like the reason we are a TCG company is because of these endeavors and explorations, right? Like,
Yeah.
most of us, we've brought people on with a lot of expertise in a lot of very specific areas, but like we met as a group of friends playing video games and who are technologists and interested in building, and we just decided like, hey, what if we tried to do this thing, you know? And because it was exciting to us and interesting, and like we've always wanted to make a game. And when this tech came out, it's just like, oh, this seems amazing. You know, like imagine playing a game where you can like actually talk to the person, and it's not just like some like prefabbed words, you know, because like even the best games sometimes feel a little bit rote. But like, it's like, okay, well, what if it's just like completely spontaneous? Like that voices in the head thing was, we had no idea that was going to happen, and like what a magical moment. And so we're looking at this thinking like, oh, we got to explore this, right? Like, if anything, we're like explorers more than you know, card game makers. Although, you know, TCGs are my heart, but like, let's see where this rabbit hole takes us.
Yeah,
that's a great
my
answer.
explanation would come from like a business standpoint here. I think like, you know, Hearthstone had, what is this? I think it's like typically quoted as like 6 years to build, and they already had the IP. Like, how do you build an IP and monetize that IP to some extent, obviously, allowing you to fund future development? And I think the answer is like, we didn't have pre-production. When we started Parallel, we had like 15 cards that were PS15, right? That's what everyone, the pre-sale 15 cards. But there were no characters. We had like rough senses of them. And so really the cards and the game as it developed became the pre-production for the world. And it happened to be that it was an effective method for us to kind of bootstrap with the community who supported us to create the world. And now that we've created it, we're saying, hey, and we you know, Planetfall's in development. Planetfall will likely come out 1 quarter after the game's release. And so, you know, like what it allows us to do is to pay for the cost, assuming people continue to want the cards and want to play the game. It allows us to build the world in a way that funds itself, and then fund additional endeavors to make more games. Because like, not everyone loves TCGs, and that's okay. We love them. We, you know, but the objective is like, make an amazing TCG that people absolutely love, and I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to be that. And it's different than all the other TCGs, and you know, is unique in its IP. But while we're making this IP and creating these cards, let's also think about what it might look like for Parallel to be off the cards. And you know, and as these artists, again, this happy accident I referred to is the artists were working in 3D anyways. And so how do we take this and use it to the best of our abilities? And like, if you kind of like fast forward and think about some of the greatest games in the world, typically there's like some 3D library that exists, and a bunch of mod culture people, like people who like to make mod games, take those 3D assets, take that core game, and create different variants of that game. And that game's usually better than the game that the people who made it released, right? Like, so I think like these are the types of things we should be looking at, is like what works, like, you know, what has worked in the past? How do we build this in a way such that it's for everyone, and it can scale, and it can be bigger than just one interaction type. And we've kind of done that with the art, we've done that with the cards, and you know, our ambitions are greater than that. I think we want to work with the newest technologies. We want to work towards something that is, you know, for all types of gamers.
That's why he's the CEO. I was like, we are excited, and he was like, here's an entire business plan. So,
well, that's how the entire MOBA genre was made. You know, it was a Warcraft 3 mod. Someone made Dota on it, and then that spun out, and you know, you have companies like Riot. So, like, allowing people to do creative and new things, like, you never know where that's going to take you. So, I mean, when you guys explain this concept and like the type of gameplay, you interacting with an avatar, that sounds so much fun to me. I love myself some card games, right? But like, I've never, Sims or Dwarf Fortress is the closest thing that pops into my mind when I hear that. And those are both very much calculated, you know? So to have those type of games where you can also receive something unexpected sounds really, really fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you can have it running while you're playing the TCG, right? Because it's mostly passive. You're watching your guy interact and whatever, and then you can type when you think something's weird is going on, or when he has a question, or she, and just don't type too much because you don't want them to go crazy.
Can they
And then,
betray
like,
you? Oh, sorry, Callus.
I don't know.
we haven't encountered it. We don't know, right? Like
Okay.
this is the thing. You don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Like, but I think like one thing that's also worth mentioning is like the card game is related in some capacity here. We've always talked about, you know, everyone's familiar with echoes, which are cards that are created from first edition and special edition cards.
Mhm.
And, you know, the ability for the player base of the TCG to create those cards is, you know, and assuming we are successful in scaling, right? Like that's the opportunity. One of the opportunities for the community is to be the supplier rather than us be the supplier.
Mhm.
But the same way you could replicate or create an echo of I'm just going to pick a card supply drop, which is a Markolian card. You
Boo.
could use that because what's depicted on that card is a LAR. You could choose to replicate a LAR, a piece of equipment. So for the same fee in Prime, you'd pay to, and this is like in theory how we see this working, such that they're tied together, is that the card would be, the supply drop card would allow you to create more echoes of that same card, and or the item depicted on it. So you could create the LAR and then take the LAR, go to the sim, go to Colony, take the LAR from your wallet, drop it in their wallet, and say, I just gave you a LAR, just in case you need it, because there's a monster in the woods. So, like, these are the types of things where they're like one ecosystem that point back to the cards.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we try to see it. And if other people need a LAR but don't have the card, you can make it and you could sell it to them, or you can make it and gift it to your friend, or whatever else it may be.
Would this open up an avenue where your avatars can be observing your card game while you're playing, and they kind of learn like the game itself, perhaps?
One thing at a time. It's like drinking through a fire hose already. You know, it's we want to get the base mechanics right, and we're still refining that and getting that as fast as humanly possible, ready for everyone to touch and experience. And you're welcome to ask. You know, some of the mods have had the opportunity to play with it in Discord with us, as we've kind of tested some things, and we turn it on and off and push upgrades in and turn it on and off again, and we kind of keep doing some of this early testing stuff. But it's not, you know, it's new and exciting, but it doesn't change our enthusiasm for the card game. Like, the card game is really exceptional. I'm super excited about the July close beta. That's going to transition into
everybody is.
yeah. I think a lot of folks have messaged me and said, you got to open it back up. I'm itching. We have a lot of stuff that's going into the beta that you know, people haven't seen, and like we're at the point now where, because we're going to go into closed beta and then that's going to transition to open beta and then we're going to go into full release. Like, we don't want to be showing you the last mile of the polish and some of the stuff that you're going to be expecting, you're going to be encountering, excuse me, when you go in and play the game come July, because like we want you to have something that's new, and like we want you to feel something exciting in that moment. And also, we're not showing you Planetfall because we want you to feel, and there's a lot of cards in Planetfall, but we want you to feel something exciting when you see them for the first time as well, and understand how the world has changed from the base set to Planetfall. So I think
more dogs.
Colony is extremely interesting. It's related to the cards. It's related to avatars. We're working really hard on that front. We're working really hard and haven't lost our focus on the TCG. We're coming up on a pretty pivotal moment for, you know, releasing that our first game in a more broad sense. And yeah, there are other initiatives that, you know, we're involved in that will also be powered by Prime, that will offer additional games that you know, we'll be utilizing Prime. So there's more coming than just even these two things. And like all within like that July to August timeframe, it's all going to start kind of shipping into production.
That's so exciting. It's been so fun watching you guys build and experiment and just everything you guys are doing. So to see the first leg of that kind of come to fruition with the open and closed beta and, you know, the initial launch, like I'm so pumped for you guys. That's got to be that's got to be like sending your kid off to college, huh?
It's weird because like we don't even take any time to like reflect, really. I mean, that's kind of where this insanity comes from. It's just like, okay. And a lot of people are working on the colony thing like on their spare time, so it's even crazier. It's just like, okay, so yeah, I have some free time, let's like make this other thing, as opposed to like, hey, let's think about what it's actually like to like, you know, release this stuff. I was talking to one of the mods in Discord earlier today, and they were like, hey, remember when you guys, were on this podcast or whatever? And I was like, oh my God, that was so long ago. I completely forgot that, like, I don't even remember what the beginning is like. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
we're just
I think I
but
get
it's because
stuck
we're
in a
excited,
nostalgia
right?
rabbit hole.
It's
Yeah.
exciting. It's
Yeah.
like you get to work on the coolest thing ever, right? Like I think one other thing that's worth mentioning about Colony before we move on from this topic to whatever other questions you want to pepper me with, is we're in this state right now where we've got this 2D circle dot that kind of just floats, not floats, but moves around the screen between buildings and goes in and does things. Hi, Tony. And we at the same time as that's happening, we are already working and have it hooked up in UE5 such that you can see your avatar be the character that's running around in this environment. And so again, that 3D asset repository is extremely useful for cutting down the time to do that. And obviously there's a migration activity of the avatars into UE5 to achieve this. But we're literally in that process already. And the video footage you see, I think one of the last videos we posted is of this Markolian guy running around with a bunch of white boxes in this kind of like matrix or like environment. That is UE5. That is the AI. It's mirroring the AI's decision path and movements. So like the first step is get it out into 2D formats so people can experience it and interact with it and validate it. The second step would be, again, pending its success, would be to have a full migration of that of Colony into Unreal, so that people could see the rich world rather than a flat, box.
Mm-hmm.
One of
What makes
Go ahead,
this
Mike.
really exciting for me is like when I first found Parallel, none of this stuff that you guys are currently building, there wasn't really a way to do it, right? Like the way AI has evolved just in the last year, and like UE5 starting to embrace crypto stuff, like that wasn't even on anyone's radar like 2 years ago, right? So I think it's super cool how fast you are to like adapt to new changes in the technology and like bring it into Parallel. And that, I don't know, I just wanted to say that's
Yeah.
part of the excitement for me, at least.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that, man. It's just
Yeah.
as long as you don't sleep, you can get a lot of stuff done. I think that's the takeaway.
I think the way we looked at it though was like it wasn't about UE5, right? But we knew it was about 3D, right? Like we knew like if we could take things off the cards, we didn't know what platform it would be, but if we took things off the cards and we had a repository, it'd be easier to migrate a 3D repository into UE5 than it would be to take a 2D piece of art and migrate it. And so
Gotcha.
like, and that's kind of why all that AR stuff popped up in the early days, right? And so we were already doing that, thinking like this needs, like, there's something inherently valuable in the fully high fidelity 3D modeled assets correlating to every card.
For sure.
But we didn't know, like there was no crystal ball saying, oh, it's going to be UE5, it's going to look like this. We weren't there yet. Yeah.
One of the things that sort of is percolating in the head is the sort of fidelity of conversation that you can have with AI right now and the potential of it improving over a period of time too. Like you guys are talking about it as it might be an ant farm, but is there the potential of it getting smarter and smarter such that that's an even stronger sort of relationship? Or
Kalis really just wants to build Skynet.
Come
So
on.
watch out, everybody.
Yeah. Are you guys worried
mean-
about Will Smith at all?
Can I opt out?
Yeah, I mean, this is a conversation for the data science team that works on contextualizing essentially OpenAI. Like, I'm not going to pretend like we built our own inherent, fully trained AI that is like that's not the case. We're really using some of the work we did on the re-engineering of that paper with OpenAI as well, and so. I think it's very likely that the team will continue to refine it in its experience and its knowledge of the world, such that, especially via interactions with the community, such that it will become more cognizant of both the player, because we've already set up such that it has memories, so it remembers things. So it remembers what you did yesterday with it. It remembers who it talked to. It has a line of sight we've given it. So if it walks into a room and doesn't look in a certain corner where there's a penny on the floor, it won't know that there's a penny there. Or if you ask it if you saw one, but if it did, then it'll say, "I saw a penny yesterday on the floor. What do you want me to do?" You can say, "Go pick it up." So or it can just say decided to pick it up. Like you can ask it, where the hell did you get this penny? And like, I found it on the floor, right? And so it will inevitably get better, under the leadership of some of the folks who are working on the team, as well as just as a byproduct of the technology stack improving over time. Like we're seeing it like leaps right forward.
Yeah. So cool. And scary.
We need like a whole show on AI, right? Because like we really haven't covered it too much, and it just opens up such a can of worms, especially if you're saying they have memory, and like if you treat it poorly, they'll remember, and eventually they're going to be able to take over your house robot and murder you in your sleep, So
like it even has
room is off.
Yeah,
like it has like it'll tell you it has feelings at times, right? Like I don't feel like this, or I feel hungry, or I feel tired.
That's trippy.
Right.
You tell it you're a stupid robot, and then
anyways, I don't want to over index and focus on it, but generally speaking, it's extremely interesting, extremely exciting.
Yeah.
It will be, utilizing assets that come from cards. It will be utilizing avatars. It will be powered by Prime. And we're, holding a really good clip, an unhealthy clip, to getting it to a place where people can interact with it for the first time, because we want to be the first ones to do that.
I mean,
Sure.
Kalos is really obsessed with it, and I can't really tell why. Yeah, he keeps calling me. Recently, he's been calling me meatbag over and over again. So I'm like, kind of, who knows? Whatever. You're the boss, though. So let's just keep going down.
Yeah. And I think
That's so funny.
we have a lot to be excited about, right? And I think with the card game coming out, with Colony, with kind of this redacted thing that we're not going too much into, other than the fact that it, is another playable game that will be powered by Prime.
chess.
No,
It's
way
not chess.
better than that. And it'll be it'll
Better
give a
than
lot of
chess?
utility to a lot of other NFT projects, actually.
It's bigger than
chess.
chess.
Oh,
You heard it here
Dude,
first.
chess is crazy. They made like a movie about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've heard.
I hope you're referring to searching for Bobby Fischer, because
I was actually thinking of the Seventh Seal when I said that, but Searching for Bobby Fischer is a good one.
I always
Man,
get Searching
now,
for
dog.
Bobby Fischer, the movie, confused with Finding Gilbert Grape.
no, it's What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
What's Eating
Gilbert.
Gilbert?
Yeah.
For some reason, I always get the two of them confused, and so every so often I'm like, oh yeah, like Gilbert Grape, and someone's like,
They never
Oh,
found
yeah.
him, dude.
Oh yeah,
They
Bobby
never found
Fischer
him.
was
We talk
mentally
about Bobby
handicapped.
Fischer. Yeah.
Amazing. This is where it starts to go off the rails. So lunchtime, pull us back. You
He
guys
killed
got
that
questions for
grasshopper.
Midnighters that are like a bit more pointed to the stuff that we're talking to?
Yeah, one of them's about avatars. Are you saying like, okay, with the 3D assets and like the rigging with them to make them all humanoid, is that something that owners of the avatars will get access to, like to be able to make videos with their avatar, or perhaps use them for VTubing? So like you're streaming or something and you can be your avatar and it like moves while you're on the screen with you.
I don't
Or
think we've
like-
contemplated. It's a really cool idea. I think there are some great
Yeah.
projects out there, right? Like that already do this
I
type
guess
of
like
thing.
would there be licensing for the owner of the avatar to use that stuff like on their own in their
I
own
don't think-
games or whatever? Or
Yeah, I don't think we've covered that yet. I think we can
Oh.
probably take it away and find out how we're going to approach that. I think like our goal is to really create experiences and then like create. I think our goal here is like so one, I don't think we want to be a VTuber. If someone wanted to eventually make it into a VTuber type thing, like an ADA or some of these other ones that are out there, they're welcome to probably figure out how to do that. I don't see any issue with it, especially if they're the owner of it.
Right.
I think will we be the ones doing that? I don't think so. I think there's like programs like out there like Hologram that are already doing this for other collections. They could probably look at how that would work for Parallel.
yeah, just more or less like, would you have access to the 3D model for owning the avatar kind of
I
thing?
don't-
Would you be able to
I don't-
download it and use it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any issue with it personally, but
That's how I
maybe-
feel too. I'm like,
Yeah,
personally, I'm like,
go to
we
town.
haven't discussed
right?
it, so like,
Right.
don't like hold our feet to the fire here. But I'd be like, yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
It's yours. Do what you want.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well.
Hmm.
I think obviously
Cool.
like, yeah, I think the goal though more broadly when it comes to this type of like licensing and stuff, I think our goal is to like mature mature and finalize the repository of 3D assets, as well as avatars, as well as any piece of equipment and vehicles and all that good stuff, and then allow the community to, because they need to be rigged, they need to be animated. Like if you have different weapons, they need animations, and like you don't want to have a repo where you have a LAR, but you don't know what it sounds like, what it shoots like, what it reloads like. You want all those things ready so that when someone does take this repo and go make a first-person shooter or an ARPG or something else, it's all there, it's ready to plug and play. And so that way we can still refine the world, make it really high quality, but allow everyone to build off of that. I think that's kind of
Cool.
where I'd say. But yeah, I don't think we could take it away though and find out exactly where we stand on it. But I'd imagine we would allow everyone, like, I don't think it'd be like a license thing, but if we probably just make it available somehow so people could play with it and do whatever they want.
Yeah, you heard it here. I'm just gonna take all the 3D assets and make a bootleg island on in Fortnite.
Let's go.
Knew it.
Have you guys found on the internet anywhere some like Rule 34 for Parallel?
I mean, people keep asking for human-sized pillows of some of the characters. So
That's
I mean, that's
suspicious.
pretty questionable behavior. If
Was
you
it-
You
is it
weren't
Magna-
supposed
Magna
to
or
tell
Emeritus?
anyone.
Magna they keep asking about? A lot of people want Magna pillows.
Just need
Some guys
Bannerman to
Like,
tuck me
we're
in.
not
at
going to
night.
put a magnet in your pillows, guys. Lay off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I haven't encountered it, but I don't actively search for those things. I suspect that
Well-
maybe Ryan or Orphan, you can tell me a little bit better if any of that exists online. If you've created any.
Is
I haven't
We'll,
created
just hoping
any.
he hasn't.
we'll DM you after the show.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about, honestly.
Yeah, or Orphan's
That's
just thinking
fine.
like, oh man, the AI just hasn't gotten good enough yet. It hasn't. We haven't trained it on enough parallel.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else you got? Lunchtime?
Um,
I beat you to the
Joseph,
punch.
look,
I
enough
feel
of
like. I
that.
spilled the beans. I spilled the beans
Yeah.
so that I took all your thunder away.
could you tease anything about what the theme of Planetfall is going to be, or is that
Yeah.
still kind of?
No, I can. Yeah, I guess well, maybe Gone. You're better suited to this.
Well, I mean, I won't spill any beans as far as what the cards will do. I mean, there'll be new mechanics and all that stuff, but like,
It's kind of
think
like
of-
Lore's storyline thing,
Yeah,
the direction
think
it's
of
headed.
all
yeah.
out war, basically. Like the cards themselves depict a lot more action in this set. You know, the first set was an introduction to characters and pieces of the world, equipment, that sort of thing. There's a lot more movement in the new set of cards. You see things happening, you know, so it's definitely more action packed.
Mm.
You also
Cool.
get you'll get some revisiting of characters, and it almost I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm going to be careful how I say this, but you'll get this sense that time has passed for them, and something has changed.
I love
And
that.
you'll see it. So you'll get to revisit some of these characters, and I don't want to say who the characters are because they're kind of you can probably
Look,
guess.
I'll tell them.
Okay, go ahead,
Jafar
yeah.
starts vaping. You know, he puts the pipe away and starts
That's not
vaping.
true.
Vape age, bro.
I
thought you were
played
actually gonna
SE
tell him.
popcorn lung.
Fuck.
Well,
You're gonna
Not
get
Gafar.
you're gonna get a deeper sense of the world for sure, and you're gonna get a good number of PLs. You're gonna see more, but you're gonna see a lot of action and a lot of combat. You're gonna
Amazing.
see
Nice.
characters who you've seen in the base set having gone through combat, and you're going to have a deeper understanding of what this world and war looks like.
did see
Love that.
a couple of those avatars that were corrupted Cathari, so they had like Shroud.
Glad you asked.
Is there like
Oh.
an intermingling of parallels going on? Like, are Cathari going to start cloning Earthen, and Earthen going to start converting
Look,
Markolians, and like
Anything could happen. You've upset my baby now, asking intimate questions. Yeah,
all right,
no,
all right, I'm
anything.
out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. I mean, I'll say this, okay? Because like things are going to change for sure. They have had more time to intermingle with one another, so now maybe they've learned some things from each other. You know,
Sure, yeah.
Hmm.
either by like subterfuge or by
Oh wow.
you know, coming together or whatever. Like
Interesting.
things are happening.
Yeah, and then from the Avatar program, just practically speaking, the Shroud it's not just Cathari. There are Markolian, Augenkor, Earthen, and Cathari corrupted Shroud. So they're kind of like the people who are under the influence of the shroud that are now in the shroud, but they still have the Markolian marks, have the Cathari paint. So you'll know that you got a corrupted one when you see these dark ones, the darker kind of smoke, versus the pulling away.
Stuart
Parallel's a
Bannerman.
family game, sir.
See that. What's up, fam?
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, so
That's
you,
incredible.
it's not isolated to Cathari. So
Got
the
it.
corrupt when an avatar became corrupted, or one of the essentially the shroud has the ability to corrupt other parallels, and what that means is that they're now a part of the shroud, and so you have some shroud that look like Cathari, or look like Markolians, or look like, but you can inherently right off the hop know that they're shroud.
Okay,
The
wow.
same way in the Universal Collection, you have some Cathari cards. You're like, that's a Cathari. I can't remember what the card is called. What is it? I think he's like wiping
Defiant
his
Clone.
lip. Defiant Clone.
Yeah.
Right, and like you can tell that that's a Cathari, right? And so, but it's a
For sure.
Universal card. And so what ends up happening is there is no there are no limitations to who ends up aligned with who in this world, in this war. And so this is how the shroud do it by let's call it force, right? Like it's not like a by the will of the
Come to the dark side.
well, not like force like that. I mean like by against their will.
Yeah.
No, exactly force like that. Come after
Okay.
me, Disney.
The Force TM.
Okay, well, I tried to
Get
step
after
over
me.
that one. He jumped on that one.
So Malamber asked, and I swear we didn't bribe him, will we get animal cards in Planetfall?
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
So our
Okay.
avatars can have pets then in their wallets.
Oh,
Oh shit, we're getting Zazu.
I can't tell you what it is. I'll let you wait and see.
giant
It's-
enemy crab.
No, I mean I'm not gonna comment.
Okay, but no.
But yeah, you will get like flora, fauna, and
Amazing. Cool.
Nice.
Will we
Well,
get canine though? That's the real question.
That's the real
that is
question.
the real question. That's what we wanted to hear, but you guys knew
Oh.
that.
you tee that
No
up.
dogs.
Right?
Blink once for kibbles and bits. No.
Oh, confirmed.
Guys, enough.
that is it.
Okay,
Amazing.
what else you got,
You
lunchtime?
good? Let's see if you guys kind of covered a lot, like while you were talking.
In this short intermission, let me hop in real quick
Yeah,
and say,
Yeah, go for it.
everyone, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Appreciate y'all being here. And also thank you for everyone who just subbed. I'll have to turn that notification down, but go ahead, lunchtime. Sorry about that.
a couple people did want to know kind of what pricing's looking like when it comes to minting avatars, but
Yeah, I think there's going to be a pleasant surprise on that front for anyone in Manifest. Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah, you'll see. It'll.
hey, it's good for me. Yeah.
This is one of those ones where it will this is something that is it will be very, 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 very reasonable in terms of what it costs on Manifest in
That's a
A
Prime.
lot.
lot of berries.
Yeah, like, it should be.
It's going to be free.
based on the program's cost and what we want, how badly we want to get into people's hands for a very cost-effective amount.
Yeah.
And a large portion of them, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to say this yet. Am I allowed to disclose this?
Yeah, I just got
Yes.
word that you are
Yeah, yeah.
from the
And I don't
from the
think so.
higher
I'm
ups.
not
Yeah, no,
saying anything.
you're fine.
You say what you need to say. But
Yeah, it'll be like, it's almost like it'll be. Like
there'll be some other
ways.
ways to get your hands on some. How about that? We'll
Okay.
we'll leave it at that. You know.
Well, that was
You
that was
don't-
going to be my question of like, is there enough supply for those outside of Manifest, or
Yeah.
even those outside of Parallel as collectors to get in on this?
They're going to be fighting over it. That's what I'll say beyond
Okay.
the supply.
Mm.
And
Okay.
like not in the way that you think. Not in this like
Mm.
you'll see.
Physically.
Oh,
Mhm.
there's an octagon.
Octagon inside the colony, or
No, you have to physically pin me.
Oh.
You have to come with 3 XP
Damn.
and fucking
If
try
someone
to come
doesn't
take me
physically
out.
pin you at 3 XP now, I'm gonna be disappointed.
You just asked for it, gone.
Yeah,
That's
that's
That is
You
true.
just opened it up.
That is
Please,
true.
anyone watching this who decides that they want, please don't do that. Don't. Yeah, it's there. We do have a cost. It's really, really low, and it's intentional. We know obviously the market conditions are not great, but we want to make sure our community who supported us and made all this possible gets their hands on them.
Cool.
That'll include, the key holders. What is it? I always forget this. I'm sorry. I have other things on my mind at the moment. Is it OK keys, or which key is it? No, it's GKs. No, which key
For
gets
avatars?
Yeah,
The disco key, right?
Disco key. Thank you.
Prismatic.
Prismatic. That's right.
Glad we have
Um,
lunch.
Yeah. So Disco keys and MPs and PKs and
Hell yeah.
and a bunch of other folks. It's going to be really, really reasonable. Like,
Cool. Can't wait.
Mhm.
I'm really excited.
yeah, it's just we wanted to go to our the people who supported us, and because they know what these are, right? They look at these characters, and anyone who supported us or collected our cards looks at an avatar and is like, I know what that is. That's a Marcolian. Or looks at a Catharian I know that's a card. There's no question. I think that's what we want that to go to those folks who've been there for us and made it all possible. So
Awesome.
There's also some interesting surprises as far as I'll tease this. Some interesting surprises as far as avatars, some of the avatars anyway, and Planetfall. So keep your eyes peeled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of this is the thing about Parallel and the way we built it. It's there's a lot of crossing over, right? Your avatar can be used in the TCG, and then and you'll be able to use it in Colony, and there's crossover potentially in Planetfall, and there's all kinds of stuff that we try to make it as useful as possible across the spectrum of the offerings that we have or are working on. Yeah, we're excited about it. It'll be fun.
You're
And
talking
it will
about
be peaking.
Yeah, you were talking about building an IP earlier, and that's how you do it, right? You create this world where everything is, cross-referenced, and you can really get people to engage with all your different products. So, not only is there a lot of usefulness in keeping these assets and using them across the board, but it also kind of builds that world for you guys. So, that's nice.
It really expands the richness of the lore that you're all establishing. I know Fitch talks a lot about it online too.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously develop this kind of linear story arc that is the comics, and obviously we want other people to be able to create their story arcs for their particular characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we aspire to longer term, not an immediate thing we're working on, but obviously as a result of being in UE5 or some of the stuff that Lunchtime was mentioning would help unlock that. So we'd love to see that, to see the community get there and us get there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm looking at the time. I want to be mindful of all that you've offered us. I know you're all very busy. So maybe we just wrap it up with a couple more questions.
That went fast.
Yeah, I got some Diablo 4 I need to play.
I was going to say priorities.
Yeah.
Is that coming out yet? It's an hour away, isn't it?
Very, very close.
Oh, for real?
Soon come. Yeah. It's happening
Yeesh.
tonight.
Oh, man. Okay.
Finally, something to do until beta.
Exactly.
Dude, I've been playing Darkest Dungeon 2. That game is awesome.
Great game.
I was playing Dark and Darker. I was playing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dark and Darker,
Oh my
and
God.
then they shut it down because I guess it was
You got to torrent it now or whatever.
I
I
don't
don't
know
even
what they
know.
did.
But
yeah, I was playing Parallel, and I was obviously for beta testing, and I was playing Dark and Darker, but then they took it away from me.
Bastards.
Drats.
Anything else you guys want to cover, or
Racer is asking, so when is the Avatar drop?
I would say say when to CL and Discord.
Okay.
He loves when you do that
Yeah.
too. He's a big
Absolutely
fan of
loves
that.
Just spam him.
Really pumps his tires. So I think
At CL when.
he's fantastic. Shout out
I
to
love
CL
that
for-
you're the one this time who was at CL and Discord. That's usually my thing, but my kid was too busy crying. So I couldn't
I got you covered. I could see
Yeah.
that you were still on mute, so
Thank you.
Then, no problem. But yeah, I think a communication set to come out in the next day or two or so.
Okay.
Around the details around the distribution, the price, and timing.
So follow the Twitter, Racer. Follow the Twitter. In the next few days, you get some info.
Yeah, if
Mash
you want to
that
follow us on
notification
Twitter, you
button.
can follow If you want to follow the studio's account, it's at Parallel. If you want to follow the TCG account, which is where we kind of share a lot of our research and also a lot of updates on the game, the TCG itself, and also leading into Planetfall, you'll definitely want to follow it so you can see the new cards.
If you want the real alpha, you got to follow at Kalos. And if you want to follow some asshole, then you got to follow at TCG Pod.
Yeah.
That's
Parallel
not even my
TCG
handle.
Pod, excuse me.
You want to lose your money.
At Kalos is not a Twitter handle I control.
Oh.
Oh, really?
So
Bad things happen in a Twitter handle. You control?
Oops.
At
You know,
Temple Crash.
You're not
Temple
Javier
Crash.
Cruz?
Temple Crash. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, you can follow me, but definitely follow at Parallel TCG and follow, all these guys and get in Discord and become part of the community, talk about the card game. It's super exciting. We've got a lot of stuff there. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about is physical cards.
Oh, yeah, please.
When can we get those?
So we're waiting on there's a lot of backups in the, this is an unfortunate comment. So we're waiting on the manufacturer. We have the final tests. We're happy with them. We've requested the final print, and the final print correlates 1-to-1 to the NFT edition size plus 5%, just in case some of the cards come damaged. And if they do come damaged, then we will, if everything gets shipped out and claimed, then we'll destroy the remaining 5%. Just because we're a little bit worried that, like, if we do 1-for-1 and then we have a request for someone to order one of their favorite card, and one of them is or two of them are damaged, no one wants to get a damaged card. That sucks.
Yeah.
And so we're waiting on that final timeline, but we're cleared the hurdle of production quality testing and validating that they're good to go. So
Would those claims be for like all cards, first editions, or just SEs and higher?
FEs and SEs have a different treatment, and both of them are redeemable for fee and prime.
Cool.
Yeah, that's our goal. So
nice.
But we're waiting on the final print. So
Can you redeem your whole deck from the deck builder in one go?
I think we want to make sure that when we do it, we make it like, because I don't think one of the logistical problems here is, like, if someone's like, I want to order 2 cards, and the next day comes back and orders 2 more. Like, I think we want to say, like, you can order what's in your wallet or nothing. Like, I think, like, you get what you have. Just from because, like, what are we going to do? Be shipping out like 50?
Yeah. We're still working on the logistics because it is going to be a nightmare. There's just so many different cards. See, my she's upset about it too. I don't know if you can hear the baby crying in the background, but she doesn't want to sort through all those cards either. So
yeah, but we're waiting on the final run. There is the good news. The bad news is I know they're backed up, and I think there's like all kinds of stuff going on with physical card manufacturers right now. I'm not sure if you guys have followed this stuff. All points to using NFTs, but I think we want to get that buttoned up and out the door.
For us slab heads, I think you had teased a PSA relationship. I don't know if that's confirmed or not.
No PSA relationship.
Okay.
I think other people have sent it in, and then it came back as like, we don't have another reference to grade it.
Okay.
We could probably do that. There are some folks in the community who work at some of the grading companies, and they've reached out and said, hey, like, let us know, we'll help you.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I think even the manufacturer of the physical cards, like, they're going to need to make, which is Cardamundi, who the folks we're working with. And please, Cardamundi, if you're watching this, help us get the final run.
Yeah, get your shit together, Cardamundi.
No.
Yeah, this entire stream is sanctioned by Parallel.
And the whole run's canceled. It's just like deleted it.
Way to go, guys.
No. They're great.
Crash cuts to Kalos buying like a giant card printer in his house and just like hand cutting all of them.
It's a big butcher cutter.
Sealed with
the whole every time I'm just like, damn, Orphan did this to me. I think we're hoping to get that all buttoned up. Obviously, Comic 3 is coming. There's lots of stuff happening, but really our focus is just deliver a really high quality game in July that we're proud of, and has a lot of features that no one thought would be in the client. If you played the alpha, you'll see a lot of new stuff.
I'm so pumped.
Awesome.
We like
Test
that.
all of our contracts. And because we'll have prime emissions, right? We're going to probably dial it down to like 10% or something to start, just to make sure nothing's busted and someone's getting a bajillion prime for some win. But you'll be able to select and use your NFT decks. You'll be able to, so if you don't have cards, definitely go get some cards. There's other features. I'm not sure. Do they know about the other features that we're working on, Gon?
No.
I think we've talked about most of them already. Oh,
The tournaments.
yep. Yeah, so there'll be several types of tournaments available pretty quickly following the closed beta, and then
Yeah.
some other features will roll out throughout the closed beta, and then hopefully capping it off with some 3v3 action. So
Wow.
3v3.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, we also
But
have,
that, this will be over time, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Yeah,
it's immediately.
I mean,
or if it-
Right away.
I
We
was
also-
like,
we
let's
also
give
have
it to these
Paragon
guys
emotes.
tomorrow. But Kalos was like, no, let's make them wait months and months and months.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
He
yeah,
always does this.
For business
Yeah.
reasons, we have to
Yeah.
delay. Lame.
No, but we also
Business.
have Paragon emotes, right? Paragon emotes.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
New emotes that you don't get standard in the client. Some of them will be in cosmetic packs. Some of them will be in only for available for Prime.
Hmm.
So then we also have Paragon skins. Again, some of them will be in cosmetic packs. Some of them will only be available for Prime. We have field backs coming. We have card borders coming. So we have these
Dang.
cosmetic packs we're working on as well. We kind of to co-launch it with the release of the TCG, and that way, if you want to dress it up beyond what's standard, or you want to use some interesting weird emotes that no one else has, you can
Yes.
get those cosmetic packs. We also have rewards tracks, which give you both NFT and non-NFT rewards. Lots of really cool stuff coming.
So good. So many
Yeah.
syncs.
That's all the
Lots-
dopamine
lots
that I
of-
love about the game, the game
Yeah.
space. I want check marks and I want rewards and I want things to spend money on. I love that shit.
I do too.
Will there be
Yeah,
a
really
Kafar emote where he's throwing up the vape nation sign?
It
Request.
just blows a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
The
Sick
3D
cloud.
animation team right now is like rolling over. They're like, oh god, don't say yes. Don't say yes.
Please say yes.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. I think Gafar's, and I don't want to ruin it, but Gafar, you saw Iraq, right? You've got the yellow skin. He obviously
looked
has
cool.
some set of emotes.
Mm.
I think Gafar is in his primed state.
Oh,
he's got-
nice.
Yeah. So anytime
like
he
Super
comes into
Saiyan.
contact with, it's like Super Saiyan. Anytime he comes into contact with primed quartz, obviously his vitiligo like pops if you've read the comics.
Yeah.
And he becomes extremely strong, as all
Damn.
Earthens do, and that will likely be his Paragon state. So
Is Prime Quartz made
we'll have
of
to wait.
meth?
We'll have to wait for it. Well, I just heard meth. That's all I heard. Meth.
It's sort of like meth,
Prime
except you have to
quartz.
keister it. So
Okay.
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 It's
No.
anally
That checks
This has
active
been
meth.
fun.
You gotta boof that.
Okay. This is maybe the Rule 34 section that we were talking about, so I might have to get on that.
We're off the
7 minutes
rails
ago,
now.
Gon said this was a family-friendly show, family-friendly gaming show.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, my
it's like
daughter's right here. She
cohesive.
heard all about it.
The aristocrats.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Well, we should let everyone go download Diablo and have fun. And
Yeah,
I want to say
we
make sure a
should.
couple things. Thank you to Orphan, Ryan, Lunchtime, and for having us.
Always.
Our
putting together,
pleasure.
putting together a good peppering of questions. And thank you to the community who supported us. Honestly, this is, none of this is possible without you guys. And so thank you very much. And we're really excited to play the beta with you in July. And as soon as we're in a good enough state on the 2D version of Colony, we're going to make sure you'll be able to try it prior to Avatar release and then
Awesome.
utilize avatars with it after.
Oh my god.
I'm so excited for that.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Well
Can you say
said.
bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
There you
Bye-bye.
go. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks everyone in chat. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, whatever you need to do. We will catch you guys next time. 2 weeks from now is our next Game Cellar, but we have all sorts of stuff coming up. So keep an eye out. Thank you guys. Later.
Bye, y'all.
That goddamn dog.
Are we done?